We have three subtopics that belong to our module. Our subtopics we will process. About the regulation on understanding security protocols operational guidelines. First of all, there are some guidelines for unmanned aerial vehicles. For example, the US does this with the FAA. Europe is preparing EASA. In Turkey, SHGM is being prepared. These regulations provide some rules for those who want to use unmanned aerial vehicles. Therefore, the prepared regulations are very important in terms of security. So I want to talk about some of the regulations that are being prepared at the FAA. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA in the United States, regulates drone use to ensure safety and compliance with aviation laws in the airspace. The rules vary depending on whether the drone is used for recreational, commercial, or official purposes. Key points for each category are: 1. Drone use for entertainment. Users who fly drones for entertainment purposes should follow the following rules. 400 feet height limitation. The drone should not fly more than 400 feet off the ground. Flight within sight range. The drone must always be flown in such a way that it can be visually monitored. That is, eye tracking is required. Binoculars or other auxiliary equipment should not be used. Airspace restrictions. Drones should be kept away from restricted areas such as airports, military zones, and no-fly zones. The airspace condition must be checked before flying with applications such as B4UFLY. Priority to other aircraft. Drones should always give priority to other aircraft that are maneuverable. Drone recording. All drones weighing 0.55 pounds and 55 pounds should be registered to the FAA. Other restrictions. Similar activities are prohibited on recreational drone flights, flying over crowds or people, night flights, and other special permits. 2. Commercial drone use. FAA Part 1. 07 rules apply to people who use drones for commercial purposes. These rules include: Pilot certificate. Commercial drone users must have remote pilot certification issued by the FAA. This includes conditions such as passing a written exam and being at least 16 years old. Maximum height. Drone can rise up to 400 feet. However, if a structure flies in an area of up to 400 feet, it may be limited to this structure. Viewing distance. Drone pilot should always follow drone visually. Airspace restrictions. Approval from air traffic control may be required to fly in controlled airspace for commercial flights. Permission is also required through the LAANC system. 3. Drone operations at controlled airspace airfield permits. Permission from the FAA is required to fly drones in controlled airspace. For this, the LAANC system can be used. Temporary flight restrictions. TFR. Flying drones is prohibited in areas with TFR. These areas may apply to conditions such as forest fires, major events, or national security situations. 4th. Drone permits and special authorizations. The FAA provides the special permissions that are applied for some rules. Among common applications: Flight out of view distance, BLOS. This allows the drone to fly out of sight, but such flights must be operated with certain safety measures. Night flights. Drones are forbidden to fly at night, but special permission may be obtained for night flights, and the drone may need to have a proper lighting system. The use of drones, as in the example we gave from the FAA, is governed by rules. Now I want to address limited airfields and no-fly zones. 1. Controlled airspace. Controlled airspace typically covers areas with heavy air traffic, and drone flights are limited in these areas. Approval may be required for the flight. Class B. This covers areas with the most heavy air traffic and is usually located around major airports. In order for drones to be able to fly in this airspace, permission usually needs to be obtained from air traffic control. Class C. This airspace is also quite heavy in air traffic and covers medium-sized airports. Approval from the ATC is required for drone flights in this area. Class D. This is controlled airspace located around small airports. Permission from air traffic control is required for drone operators to be able to fly in these areas. Class E. This class covers areas that are not particularly large airports but still have controlled airspace. AATC permit may usually be required to fly in these areas. 2. Temporary Flight Restrictions (TFR) are regulations that prohibit flights in certain areas of the airspace for a certain period of time. TFR are usually applied for the following situations. Large events. In areas where there are crowded events such as sporting events, rallies, or concerts. National security. Special security threats or near sensitive military zones. Government events. For security purposes during presidential visits, the movements of heads of state or high-profile politicians. Now let us address the safety precautions that need to be taken before, during, and after the flight. 1. Pre-flight security checks. A. Checking the physical state of drone battery status. Check the battery charge level. Insufficient battery can cause the drone to drop unexpectedly during flight. Motors. Check if the drone engines are working properly. Listen to if there are any sound changes or signs of malfunction in the engines. Propellers. Make sure the drone's propellers are properly installed and not damaged. Cracked or broken propellers can lead to serious problems during flight. Cameras and sensors. If the drone has cameras or sensors, make sure they work cleanly and properly. Clean lenses and sensors can affect image quality. B. Checking weather condition. Wind speed. Check whether the wind speed is at the safe limit for the drone. High winds can cause difficulty controlling the drone or cause accidents. Precipitation and vision. Weather conditions such as rain, fog, or snow can make flying dangerous. Check if the air is suitable for flight. Temperature and climate. Too hot or too cold can negatively affect the performance of a drone battery. Preparing the flight plan. Airspace controls. Learn about the weather in the region where you will be flying. It may be necessary to obtain a flight permit, especially in controlled airspace. Temporary flight restrictions. Check if there are temporary flight restrictions in your area. It is important that you get information about the temporary restrictions that the FAA or EASA announces. NOTAM. For commercial flights in particular, get information about any restrictions or restricted airspace that could affect air traffic in the area. Danger flight area and control of obstacles. Environmental obstacles. Check the area to be flown. Review whether there are potential obstacles, such as trees, buildings, power lines. People and animals. Check to see if there are people, animals, or vehicles in the area to fly. Flying drones in crowded areas can pose a safety risk. 2.